welcome to The Shift, powered by ETH Insights. It's a platform where we sit with industry leaders to delve into key issues changing the world around us. And with me today is a very special guest, Ankush Sabharwal, founder and CEO of CoRover AI, the man behind BharatGPT. Welcome to ETH Insights, Ankush. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Jagjeet, for having me here. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Right. So Bharat GPT, Ankush, it's built for low bandwidth, multilingual and offline contexts. But what does true AI accessibility really mean to you beyond the technological lens? How do you measure empowerment in a world where everyone's, sort of stuck measuring reach?
Absolutely. You know, I'm maybe going to be a little philosophical here, right? So, why do we do whatever we do? I think if it is only for you, or if I do something, if it's only for me, or for my family, or only for my company, so I'm not doing probably good enough work, right? I think whatever technological innovations we do, or the developments we do, we have to make sure it can impact, if not the whole world, but certain critical mass or some society. Again, I would not say the whole world or whole India, but certain subset should be served. And when we now talk about India, I think, as we all know, there is poverty, right? So I think one of the major reasons is the lack of information, right? So, and now when we implement or develop AI platform and solutions, and earlier I was thinking, hey, we will democratize the technology. So now I'm thinking, no, it's not about democratizing technology, right? So we have not taken birth, or we don't just live to probably develop and use technology, right? So we have to live happily, and if we could democratize the information, means if everyone, let's say in India for now, if everyone gets information at the right time, the way they understand, right? So everyone is not probably literate or educated in our the own way of reading and writing, right? So if they get to know about certain programs, certain information, and I'm sure they would use that information, apply it to their lives, and get better, make their livings for themselves and for, again, their families, the society. So yeah, so I think if it is AI, it has to reach the masses, so that we can really do justice of whatever innovation we are doing. It's not just about enticing or exciting few researchers or the few technology folks. It's about really making an impact. People should use it, and even they should not even worry whether it's with AI or not, right? So they should just be getting benefited, right? So they should not even bother whether it's AI or not. I think if we could do that, and I think I would say, hey, we are on the right track and achieved maybe a 1% of the purpose I'm living this life with.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. Ankush, India now has a sovereign LLM in Bharat GPT. What does sovereignty truly mean when it comes to AI? Is it about where models are trained? Is it how data is governed? Or is it a case of who sets these values behind them?
Yes. All of it, as you said, plus which data, from where the data has come, right? So if we had not got the key ingredients for any AI system or LLM, I think we would not be talking about data or LLM sovereignty. So when we are talking about sovereign AI, why we are talking about it? Because we have the key ingredients, right? So say if we do not have um, kind of farms, the kind of the right soil, then it's difficult to say, let's have our own agriculture, right? So we are talking about we had seen the agriculture revolution, and now say we are doing very good in agriculture. So I think we are self-sufficient, and we also export because we have those ingredients, right? So we had that um, good soil and the farmers behind it. So similarly, when we are talking about it, it's not difficult task because we already have the ingredient. So what is the ingredient? The data, right? So the data is the key ingredient for any AI system. And from where the data comes by just living life, right? We are talking, we are generating data, right? So now in India, everyone is on social media, and everyone is using so many social networking apps, and so they are generating data by just consuming those applications, right? The consumers, users are also data producers, right? And so as organizations and as individuals, we are generating a lot of data, and
Right.
so means we can think and create sovereign AI. And now why, right? Why do we have to think about it, right? So if someone is giving us technology, let's use it, right? So why we have to build it from scratch, or why we are thinking about sovereign AI, right? So I think maybe 6 7 years ago or a decade ago, one term was very popular: data is a new oil, right? Data is the new oil. So I don't know
Right.
who, but many people I heard speaking, and so I've literally seen people kind of ask people speaking, and it's written everywhere. So I would still say it is just not the finished or consumable oil. It's crude oil, right? Data is a crude.
Okay.
So now we have to make it consumable, usable oil. So now AI systems would make that consumable. And now again the whole world, right? Who has the oil, and all these duties are gone by that, and all these treaties are gone by that, and which country is powerful is being driven by that. So now if it is an oil, whether crude oil or usable oil, so now we have that in India, right? So now why don't we process this in India? Why we um, export, or someone take our data, and then, right, crude oil from India, and they process it, and they create the finished oil, and we buy the oil or the systems from the different countries, right? Doesn't make sense. So now, so if the data is here, if with that analogy, if the oil is here, then it should be processed here, and we should be the beneficiaries of it, right?
Absolutely.
So that's why the sovereign AI is very, very important. And it would not just be, hey, it is costly, and if we build it, it would be cheaper. I think that's not probably the reason, and should not be the reason, because sovereign AI can be costly as well, right? But in the long term, you see the people who are generating the data, so they would also be getting the benefit, not in just terms of monetization, but also in terms of they getting the services, right? So we had launched our Sarkar around 3 4 years ago, and even Honorable Prime Minister had mentioned about that in Man Ki Baat. We got the national award as well. We had given that service free, and you see, we had given this service free because people were using it, and we are making that better, right? It was kind of give and take, right? So since, right, so we did not make it, it was not, it was free, and people could use it, and we in turn got a lot of benefit, and that's why we could create BharatGPT, you see.
Right.
Because the BharatGPT, I would say it's not the revolution. It's not one fine day we came and say it's ready. So it was evolution, right? So when we started the journey around 8 years ago, and all the data, wherever we had the right to use the data with Ask Sarkar, Ask Talk, and a few other services, so we could create it, right? So now, so we again are helping the citizens of India to get more and more benefits. More and more use cases will come up. I think we are on that journey to be meaningful.
Right, right. Ankush, let's talk about the training bit. Bharat GPT is trained on Indic languages and a cultural context. How do you go about encoding cultural memory into the model without losing nuance or reinforcing certain bias? How do you go about that?
Yeah, see, we are just trying, right? So we have, so that's the intent to be, culturally aware. Um, because see, we're talking to you, and it is some certain culture we are depicting, right? So, and with our talks, the culture is being depicted, and uh, we we have those talks with us, right? So, lot of Indian conversational data, right, with the voice and text we have it. So that, and whenever we keep getting data about the cultural data, the Indian knowledge system, and we keep adding to our model. And did we fully kind of complete? Do we know this 100% nuances of this culture? No, only the data which is written and which we have, plus whatever we could decode from the Indian conversation, right? But the cultural aspects are, they are, from generations and thousands of years. And do we have all the scripts? Do we have everything written? Probably no. And still, there are a lot of encoding memory already in our DNAs and mind, or maybe right. That's a different philosophy, whether subconscious mind or. But we are
True,
wired to do certain things, right? So even if you would see there are certain things, which even if we're not trained, or even if we're not educated ourselves to do certain things, but all human beings would do the same things, right? So they have been wired in, maybe through our DNA. So could we decode all of it? Currently not, right? Because there are few things already embedded. Humans know
true,
how to behave in certain situations, right? Even we have not learned, right? So right. So
true. Agreed.
so maybe whenever we, so now people are thinking about God AI, or AGI, or super AI. I think that would be possible. I think maybe currently we are thinking we'll have all the data in the world and train it. I think that would not be sufficient unless we get unless we could get whatever is there in our mind. We would not be able to create that super AI or the God AI. But yeah, so to answer your question, yes, so that's the journey to be culturally aware. It's culture is very, very important, but the way where we are behaving, the way we are talking, I think most extent it would depict the culture, but not all of it. So that journey is again on.
Right, right. Ankush, in domains like governance or say healthcare, hallucinations are not just bugs, they are potential liabilities, right? How does BharatGPT navigate this trade off between conversational fluency on one hand and verified accuracy on the other?
Yeah. See, most of our implementations, say we create conversational AI agents. So we hardly our clients would use just Bharat GPT. Means, see, Bharat GPT is an LLM. So means if you ask a response, and you would ask a response through certain prompts and queries, you'll get the answer from Bharat GPT. Or through RAG-based approach, you give your context, and BharatGPT would generate the response based on the content which we sent. But there is a basic kind of classic NLP also, which most of our clients use, because um, any organization, so they know about their users, about whether users could be the employees or their consumers. And when we know, say, let's take an example of, say, IRCTC. So we know a lot of people ask the train availability, they ask for the PNR status. So when we know, many people would ask only that. So why do we need Bharat GPT or any LLM or Gen AI there, right? So, and if we see our analytics, 80% of our use cases get addressed without Bharat GPT, right?
Right.
And then 20% then to Bharat GPT and other LLMs. So now hallucination, when it is not, when the responses are not coming from LLM, they are coming from the classic NLP. So there also there is an iota of in accuracy, but we have seen even 99, 100% accuracy also. There is no hallucination. Right? 80% of the cases, whenever we use just classic NLP, not BharatGPT, not LLM, so it's no hallucination. And now the 20% of the cases where we use LLM, so there also we have seen around 90% no hallucination, because we again do grounded responses with LLM. So we are not B2C with BharatGPT yet. Hey, you ask any question and I'll answer every thing in the word, whether I know or not, whether it's updated or not, but I have to give you some responses. We don't have that urge, right? So
Right.
whatever answers we give, they are trained, fine-tuned, and grounded based on the data given to us by the organizations, their use cases.
Right, right. These big tech models are often benchmarked on FLOPs. There's the parameter count that kicks in, synthetic tests. What should success metrics for a model like Bharat GPT be, in your opinion? Especially when, just like you said, it's meant to serve citizens and not enterprises.
No, it meant to serve citizens directly or through enterprises. Like say, Ask Disha, the IRCTC. It's of course helping citizens, but it's through our client, which is IRCTC and Indian Railways. So we have to reach out to the citizens directly or through the organizations. Like LIC has Mitra. So LIC's Mitra's AI agent is also powered by CoRover, and few others like SEBI, Seva, then Chandigarh Smart City, Birbal. Then we have DG Sathi. So we are reaching to the consumers through these organizations. And now the benchmarks, again, see, benchmarks are relevant when when we say, hey, all of these models are trained with a certain data, or it's being used for the certain use case. So now, as BharatGPT is not B2C, it is for various organizations, the use cases, and we have done the fine tuning for most of the use cases, and those parameters would change, right? So when the parameters change, and again the benchmarking doesn't help, because even if you do the benchmarking, say, hey, though this is the use case for this BharatGPT implementation and other LLMs, if they also test with a certain use case, our accuracy would be 100%, because it is small and it is fine-tuned with the data of the organization. With other LLMs would not have that data. Right. So we got the data because we have the contract with the client. They have given us the data to train the model, right? We have the privilege of better and authentic data from the organization. And it is small because in that model, other answers would not come, right? So we have small, we have contextual, and it would be unfair to do the comparison with other models because they are big. They want to answer everything in the word, and they don't have the latest information. So if they don't have the latest information, now if you see most of the LLMs, they have an additional layer and they scrap the web and try to give the answer, right? So they're just dependent upon internet and publicly available information, but we are not, right? So we have the authentic information, right information, and less information, right?
Right.
We in benchmarks would always be the best, right? So, but we know it's unfair to do and publish that because they have their own challenges. So different purpose, I think.
Right.
LLMs.
Right. So, Ankush, I'm really intrigued to know that once Bharat GPT achieves scale, once that box is ticked, what is the next frontier? Is it deeper cognitive reasoning? Is it going into hyperlocal dialects? Or is it something that we are not even imagining yet? What is it?
Very, very interesting questions. You see, so current challenge what we have. We have to do. We have to keep doing, better reasoning, or at least mimic to say, hey, we are doing better reasoning, and of course have as humans keep evolving with their speaking etiquette, right? The AI, of course, would have to keep evolving. There is no end to those kind of advancements. But currently, we are restless not to do this because we know the technology, whatever we have, is sufficient to solve many problems, which would take country out of poverty, make India the leader in AI, right? Not just in the use cases, and not just the building the platform, both, right? Which country can be better other than India, who can create AI platforms and the models, because the data is again here. And again, which country would be better in the use case implementation than India, because India is ready. India, right? So many handsets and around 850 million internet users and smartphone users, and give any technology to India, people would use it. Right? Word has thrown Orkut to us, and we have used it. Others have used it or not. Highest number of users of WhatsApp here, Facebook. We are ready to use, right?
Absolutely.
The whole responsibility is on us and the technologies to give the right tool to them, instead of they picking up and scrolling through short videos, sometimes not serving their purpose, but still we get used to watching those reels. So I'm saying they're ready to use, but we are not giving them. So I'm restless to solve the problems which the citizens have, which so that they get real benefit, not just the entertainment value which other products are giving, but really the utility value, productivity value which citizens should give and citizens should get. And technology is there. It's just to think of the right use case, implement the right use case with the existing technology. But of course, we have the technology roadmap also. So we always keep upgrading our platform to be ready technologically. And the second is whatever product we have at the current stage, that should also be implemented to solve certain problems. So both go hand in hand.
Right. So utility for the Indian citizen through BharatGPT. That's a wonderful note to end on. Ankush, thank you so much for joining us. It's a real pleasure to have you on our program.
Thank you, Jagjeet. So I think the kind of questions you have asked, I had to introspect, and a lot of thoughtful questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.